Before we start, I'd just like to draw your attention to the safety aspect of this, as this video is open to anyone, and never ever plug this socket into the mains whilst the cover is removed. It has tamper-proof screws, which I'll explain in the video, of 3-star 1PT driver as against a normal 4 Phillips type, but a normal bladed screwdriver will enable to take the 2 screws out and get access to the electronics. So never ever have this plugged into the 240 volt mains, because every component in there is elevated to 240 volts. There is no isolation, there's no transformer. Welcome to my YouTube latest video. I've come across a couple of faulty 13 amp sockets controlled by a remote control, not by Wi-Fi, a remote control, a 433 megahertz radio frequency. This is the item, and there we go. It was purchased about 6 or 7 years ago from Lidl's. Now these power sockets have an LED screen here, a monitor, 13 amp socket, goes in your power socket. Whatever you've got plugged in here, you can just switch it on and off. I use it for table lamps, which are very difficult to get behind cupboards, and to switch them on and off, and it's worked perfectly, but it became very intermittent and then stopped working. If you've seen my previous NEF warming drawer video, very simple power supply in them. 240 volts is traded down to 24 volts in the NEF warming drawer, but in this it goes down to about 6, 7, 8 volts. Anyway, I'm going to take it apart. 2 screws here. Little warning, the end of the screw you'll need here is a 3-webbed screw, as against a 4-webbed one, which is standard. You'll need one of these for the little printed board inside here, and you'll need this one to take these 2 screws out here. So I'll endeavour to take these out. Can be a bit tight. There we go. There we go. Now we'll crack this apart. There we go. Be quite careful here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, be quite careful, because the let's just focus that. There we go. This should lift off. So I'm saying, just there we are. It's coming off. Now if I turn it over, it's a shutter device, so that EU standards, you can't get fingers in there, little chums, little kiddies. So don't touch this, because that spring there, you can see it there, will fly out and you'll probably never see it again. Anyway, mine flew out the first time because I had never taken one of these apart. So for the sake of this video, I thought I'd better take this apart, otherwise it can make me look quite foolish, which I am quite most of the time at my age. Anyway, leave that aside over there. Right, what we've got in here is a nice little printed board. I have taken the 2 screws out. We'll now need the 4-headed one. There's a screw there, and there's one there. Take note where the wires are, they all clear everything. These are all loose. Anyway, if we take this board out, but before I take it out, this capacitor here sees 240 volts coming in at one end from the raw feed on the live of this, and at the other end you've got about 10 volts. Now I'm going to measure this, but I'm going to take it out first. And the other thing I noticed, I haven't touched this, look at this capacitor here. I'm going to look at it with a magnifying glass. It's a 220 microfarad, 35 volts working. I don't know whether you can see it in the video, but look, it's domed at the top. Normally they're flat. Either this has been giving too much volts, which I very much doubt it, because the value of these gets destroyed. This is 0.33 microfarad. So I'm going to take that out and measure it with a DVM, which will measure capacitance. But I'm not going to bother with this one. I'm going to put a brand new one in there. Look, it's pressurised, which means it's gassed inside. Could be old age. Remember, 6 or 7 years it's been plugged into the mains, never switched off. When we've had storms, the power's gone off, the flickering lights, it can destroy these, can put pulses. So it's done okay, 6 or 7 years, but I'm going to replace this one. It's 275 volts AC. I'm going to replace it, as I did with the Neff warming drawer, a 305 or 310 one, just to give a bit more headroom on the 240 volts AC, and probably see me out then, you know. Okay, I'm going to lift the board out now. Don't worry about this, you can push that back in, but it's best not to destroy too much, because, you know, if everything pings apart, you might have difficulty actually deciding where everything goes. Anyway, I'm going to desolder this capacitor here, which lines up with there and there. I have got a desolder gun. Looks like it goes in there and there. So let's put that on there. Always a bit difficult to get apart, these are. Right, okay, I've desoldered it. There we go. Taking it out. It's not swollen or leaked at the bottom, but there you can see it's domed. I'm going to put a new one of those in, because anything that's swollen like that's obviously got quite extreme pressure in there. I haven't got a device for measuring this. I can only measure up to about 50 microfarads. This is 220/35. Interestingly, Lidl stuff is made in Germany. This has got a 105 degree working temperature, which is great, because a lot of the cheap versions of this switch, and there's lots of them around, will only have 85 degrees, but it's not going to get all that hot in there, only on a hot summer's day. Anyway, that's got that out. I'm now going to take the 0.33 out. Okay, let's get my desolder. This is very handy, this vacuum one. Cheap Chinese, only cost me, I don't know, about £22 delivered. Might be a bit more now, I've had it a few years. Let's desolder that. Lovely. Right on the joint. There we go. Hopefully that pull out. Oh, there we go. Okay, I've got a replacement for this. I've got two types here. What shall I use? Well, this one's virtually identical to that, except it's 310 volts. So I'm going to put this one in. As I say, the difference in price between a 275 AC volt working, about 180, 190, maybe £2 delivered off of one of our favourite internet sites, and the 310, £4 delivered, so it depends what you want to do really. I mean, this one here lasted 6 or 7 years, so take your pick. Okay, I'm going to feed this capacitor through the holes, and it goes through there, goes through there. A little bit tricky because I've got old engineering hands. Here we go. Now, if you just tease those leads out slightly, you won't find it will drop out when you're soldering it. There we go. Just make sure it's pushed home. There you go. Don't have to bend them flat. I don't know whether you can see that. There we go. Well, let's get my soldering iron and a bit of solder on that. There we go. Can you see it? Oh, you can see that, can't you? There we go. Solder there. There we go. That's that one. That's the other end. Just use your 60-40 tin lead solder. I don't use the lead free ones because if it is, it's not very malleable, so I think you can still get the 60-40 lead, but there you go. Anyway, any good multi-core solder. Okay, we're going to put the capacitor in now. You'll notice this is a negative. The longer pin is always slightly longer on the positive side. Okay, now if you look at the printed board, and then we can see it, the lighting, there's the white bit, which is not the positive, it's the negative. Okay, so I don't know whether I've actually got it marked the other side. Yeah, on this side you probably can't see it, but it's got positive. So the big mark bar is a negative, so that will go that way. So stick the positive wire in first. I wouldn't cut the leads off, because if they're the same length you have difficulty putting them in, but when one's longer than the other you can feed one in first, the first 3 or 4 millimeters, and then there we go. Okay, I'm going to turn that over and hopefully solder that. Right, let's get the solder on it. I'm doing this not in my workshop, I'm doing it on the dining room table, and the reason is my dining room and the lounge of my house faces south, and even today, which is a bit cloudy, it's bright. My workshop with artificial light, to be honest, it's not the best place to do videos. Okay, there we are, that's soldered. So I'm going to assemble it and chop off those wires with the side cutters. Here we go. Put them around the other way. I'll just check it. Yeah, no shorts. Just make sure you don't have any little flecks of solder. That looks okay. So we can bring that back. There we are. Personally, there's another capacitor there. That really doesn't do a lot. It's on the very low voltage side. This is the 433 megahertz aerial. That's its crystal. This is the 13 amp relay that switches the power on and off. So what I'm going to do now is assemble it, and I'll just pause. I'm going to have a cup of tea. Make sure that's pushed back, which it is. All the wires packed back there. You're going to put that screw back and that one there. I'd advise to have a magnetic screwdriver. Now remember, don't use the 3-bladed one. You'll need that for the big screws, the two that hold the case together. You need this one here. Now what I'd say, if you've got it magnetised, which this one isn't, I'm going to magnetise this, because, well, there you are. It has put the screw on the end, so I probably can get that in there, I don't know. There we are. No. See, you're watching, so I'm going to cut that out and edit that, but this is just to let you know that if you've got a magnetic screwdriver, there we go. Have I picked up the wrong screwdriver? Yeah. See, I picked up the 3-bladed one, so it didn't go in. This one's fine. There we go. Yep, I had the 3-bladed one. That's a 4. I keep saying I'm going to put a little mark on here, you know, because you just got to look. Mind you, it's pretty obvious when you look at the end. There's a 3. There's a 4. Okay, that's enough about that. Just put the last screw in. Okay. There we go. I've got the right screwdriver this time. Anyway, I'd snip that up. Now what you need to do is that little bit clips in the end. And you can see you just need to tease the wire out the way there. That then pushes down. While you've got your finger on there, put the wires in down the edge. Okay, there we are. Now everything's back. Make sure this hasn't been bent in the wrong position, but it should be perpendicular to the printed board, the aerial, but it doesn't make much odds. Okay, make sure those wires, sometimes they hop over and go that side, and that stops the base. Now we're going to gingerly put this back, and that should go back nicely. It goes down the back there. There we are. Okay, I don't know if that's still in focus, is it? Right, pop the top on. It clips in the base end, the non-screw end, so pick your 2 screws up, drop it in there. That's the first one. I'm now going to use the 3 crossed headed screwdriver. The reason why they use these screws is to hopefully stop you tampering with it. Most people wouldn't have a 3 cross-headed screwdriver, okay, but if you haven't, you can still get to these with a bladed screwdriver like this, and it will fit if you just grind the sides down like that. I don't know whether you can see that. See, that'll save you purchasing a 3-bladed splitter, but to be honest, you can buy these online, eBay or something like that, and you know, £2.50 delivered. I prefer to have the correct tools, but this will take them out because it goes between 2 of the 3 bladed hollows. Anyway, that's assembled it. Okay, now comes plugging it in to see if it works. I've got to find the remote control, to be honest. So let's do that. Okay, I'll plug it in. I've just got this 13 amp distribution, otherwise I'm going to have to drag the camera over to a wall socket. So let's plug it in. There we are, nothing. Okay, I'll just grab hold of the remote. Right, I don't know whether you can see that. Let's see if it's in focus. Okay, right, I'm keeping fingers crossed. I've got this program into button number 2, that's the remote control. Oh, did you hear that click? And it's lit up, and it is quite bright. Not in this light, but there you go. Well, you can see that. I'll operate this from a few yards away because it has got a 30 metre. There we are, all working. It didn't work at all before. Job done. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Always, once you've taken the case apart, please do not plug it in. You must always assemble it to plug it back in, because there's no earth on it as such once you grab hold of any of the electronics, and you will get electric shock. So a warning here, do not have it plugged in anywhere with the case apart. Okay, alright then, now comes the crux. I've got it connected to the corner light. Let's try it out, shall we? Channel 1 on the remote. There we go, we're on. Now we're off. Yep, works perfectly. Before I signed off, I just thought to show you, I've not really mentioned the remote control. This is the Silvercrest Lidl remote control. As you see, we have 5 channels. They're not actual channels. The bottom one is the master, so all 4 can be switched on and off in one go. I've really never used that. Now, I've had a bit of trouble with channel 1 because that one is one of the table lamps that's used all the time, and it did become a bit worn out. So if yours is a bit dodgy, if you look closely, you'll see that it doesn't always come on, but when you press the button, the LED lights up. I'm going to take it apart. There's no screws on this at all. So basically, if you slide a little knife in there and gently prise it off, you can see it comes apart. Okay, now I'd advise probably take the battery out, doesn't matter. It's a 2032, which is nominally a 3 volt. When you check it on the DVM, you usually get 3.3 volts when it's new. So if yours is under 3 and you're having trouble with transmission, just put a new one of these in, and that'll give you another 10% more range. Okay, anyway, what I advise you to do is, there's a printed board. These pads don't actually wear, I used a very soft rubber. Okay. What I was going to suggest is don't use any fluid on these to clean these. Use just an ordinary, very soft rubber and gently wipe all over there. Okay. Minimal friction, but it will wipe off any grease. Okay. There we are. Also, if your number one on and off, come to that number two, that end, you use this the most. If you've not used the all off, all on, this is symmetrical. Take it off, turn it round, push it back. Okay, that just pops back. You'll see, there we are. We're all back. It is symmetrical, I assure you. There we are. There we go. Now you've got it back. Your number one and two, it's got the least all on, all off. It's a good little dodge to get your channel one up and running. Okay. Not much problem getting it back. Basically, you put that back in there. You line it up. There we go. Hopefully the video's in focus. This just then pushes back together. There we go. Push button's okay. Alright, just make sure it's all clipped back. Stick the battery back in there. Pop this back. Don't forget to get the polarity correct. There we are. Is it working? Yeah. Well, you can see it, the light gleaming just on the end there. Okay. There we go. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you've got anything like this, which is not a Lidl's one, a Silvercrest one, just take it apart, and if you find that capacitor, then just change it. Simple as that. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I hope you have success if you come to repair one of these Lidl's 433 megahertz radio controlled 13 amp sockets.